Oh my goodness! I started off with the very cheesy soundbox machine for the first Music is Therapy show here on the Music Therapy Labs channel with yours truly going solo because Janice needs to sleep, and that's okay. I've been telling her quite often that she needs to really get better and more regular sleep because it's very, very important to our homeostasis, something that we're going to be talking about today. That's right. I did toss out. I don't say throw anymore. Toss out a invitation to Johnny Bean. But if there's somebody else in the chat, like Martin from or let me post that here. See, oh, I have to upgrade to do that. See, ever since I downgraded to the free plan, I don't have all the things at my disposal that I used to have. So I might be renewing that subscription, even though it's super expensive. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Today's show on the Music is Therapy show, right? Today's show is about dopamine and its effects on the brain, a very, very important neurochemical that that regulates our homeostasis in a sense. It's very fascinating how it works. And we've heard the word dope, right? When we talk about drugs, dope, is something dope. That's like a slang of using the term, which really is talking about is something cool or something in homeostasis. When you're cool, when everything's going good, you're in that homeostasis like realm, right? Status, the zone, whatever. And that's what dopamine does. It's trying to do that. But the weird thing about it is that it is something that we evolved with over millions of years and has really only in the recent, say, few hundred years or so have we, maybe a little bit longer, last few thousands, ever since civilization, really. The fight or flight kind of response, the whole survival instinct that we have, the dopamine is there to keep us alive. That is why it triggers by a variety of things, from lots of things we do, everything from eating, sleeping, music, and stuff like that. Of course, music is a more modern, if you want to call it, invention of sorts. The way we use it, we've changed the way we use music compared to maybe how music might have been used much earlier, sound for that matter, how it's been used for really millions of years, probably by all kinds of creatures, including us, as we've evolved to satiate. So, for example, when you want to get some work done, it's really fascinating how music works with why it gets you motivated, gets the body moving. The whole thing about how it transfers or affects our behavior. Things like it being used in a lot of rituals. They could be religious. There could be sexual rituals. Rituals of maturing. Music has always been involved in these things because it moves our body. And why? How is this happening? Why is it happening? And does it matter? Well, it does, if you ask me. And by the way, on this show, I will often wear hats and stuff like that on the other shows. Often during the winter, I use the Peruvian chuyo, right? One of my favorite things to wear. I got a few extras of those when we went to Peru for Christmas. And I decided not to wear it on this show, or these things on this show, because I thought maybe going full baldy is looks a little more serious, right? And I try to do this show kind of a more serious vein than my other show and some of my other videos, which is about musical gear, and that's important too, but trying to take a serious tone. So I've got the more like psychologist look going on here with the bald head and the and the nice shirt and whatnot, right? So tell me what you guys think about that. Leave some comments for me after the show if you don't mind. Let me know what you think of this show. Do you like me doing it solo like this, even though this is by accident, that Janice couldn't make it? And Johnny usually just pops in. Johnny Bean, as you all know, a good friend of mine. There he is. He's in the parking lot at Starbucks. But I was thinking about trying to get this show to be different than the other shows, even though it is a live show. I'd like to bring guests on and talk more about the psychology side of things, And of course, how, I'm no psychologist. I've studied some psychology. I did go to school for it. I have a transferable psychology degree. If I do continue that education at some point and get my degree in psychology and PhD is what I'd really like to do. Even at my late stage in life, I think we're really never too old for any of this stuff. You can never be too old to be educated. As a matter of fact, it probably keeps your brain going, keeps you alive for longer, right? Right, NPN? It'll keep you alive. Like, just tinkering with stuff like Johnny and Ron on the shows. Recently, he's been building guitars and doing all that stuff. That's so awesome. Yeah. And I don't know if that's you, Lucas, or Martin. I'm assuming that's Martin. If you want to jump in, I'll send you a link. Let me know. We got Hoborodi is also here. Let's say hi to everybody in the chat. Hoborodi is also here. What's up, dude? He's saying hi to the Greasy Monkey. Can't say it. Guitars, dude. And then we've got, I said hi to MPN. Right, we got William De Silva. What's up? Martin, how was dinner? Right? That's right. Martin is in Austria, so he's probably just now finished dinner. And then we've got Ian's Guitar Shack here as well. What's up? BC Rich 581 also saying hola to everyone in the 202. I think he meant to write happy 2025, right? There it is. Why isn't it showing on the okay, there you go. Gotcha. All right. And then Burnt Relic also saying hey. We've got Alex Radford also saying hey. Everyone's saying hey to each other. Let's go up a little further up. We've got Edward R. Nugent Jr. from Fret Not a Diamond Guitar, LNM. I think they're talking gear already, of course. That's one of the things we do, right? We talk gear. It pumps up our dopamine in our bodies, just talking about gear, just looking at it, right? I walk in here and I'm like, wow. And I get all pumped up. And I think that's where that comes from, that word pumped up too. You have other hormones that are going through your body and whatnot as well. But dopamine is very unique, neurochemical. And there was some really, really interesting stuff that I recently watched and some podcast things that I really get into, all about science and knowledge about, neuroscience especially fascinates me. Bay Area Rich, what is up, my man? We finally did meet a little bit ago, which was really great. And then Sean, Scott Hawk. And then let's see, who else we got up here? We said hi to Greasy Monkey. Oh, Steve, what's up? I saw you in some of the other chats and some of the other shows I perused over the weekend. And it's not over yet. It's only Sunday morning, right? So there's still a weekend to finish. And then we've got Hoborodi, by the way. We've got something here to unbox. So you'll be excited about that. I'm not terribly excited about the packaging, to be honest with you. So I'm hoping everything that came all the way from, I think, Norway is intact and in one piece and workable. I think buying stuff on Reverb nowadays is getting sketchier and sketchier, you guys. So Mark's gas station also here. What's up, dude? Yeah, man. A lot of people from a lot of great communities on YouTube here that I've really enjoyed over the years and have partaken, in some fashion or another, right? Being part of their communities. Some I'm not as active in as I'd like to be because of time. It's only so much time in the day. When we had COVID, it was a lot easier. There's nothing else to do, really, right? And Bay Area Rich saying good morning to me. And then Alex Radford, of course, I think we're getting ready for that trip, right? So you got all the info you need so far, right? Now all we need to know is who's going and when and where we're meeting. I'm assuming that if you meet up with Brent, I'll pick you guys up from my friend that lives in Tracy. Yeah. And we can go from there. That we can leave the car there safely. Or you guys can drive to here, but it's an extra half an hour drive for you guys. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. Let's see. Anything else here? I think we said hi to Steve. I think we've got pretty much everybody. I think so. I like to say hi to everybody, It's the right thing to do. Hoborodi's got his coffee, as do I, my friend. And today I am drinking from David Bowie's head. That's right. When my wife saw this mug, she's like, who is that woman? So obviously she had no clue who David Bowie is. So let's go back to the bottom of the chat and see where we're at with everybody. Right down to the bottom. I think we got, yeah. All right, so we're good to go. So, Would He Be Real? We met in LA at the Alex Van Halen talk, the book chat, right? That was really awesome. That was a really good experience. And I really liked Alex's take on everything pretty much. I think a lot of people were a little bit disenfranchised by the lack of information after 1984 in some of the comments. And I think if you ask me, that's all just Alex being really smart and knowing how to manipulate the media and news media and get people talking, because now people are fired up for what's he going to have in book 2, because he's already mentioned it several times. Well, that's for another book, right, Johnny Bean? That's for another book, right?
What? You're writing books?
No, Alex Van Halen's book. Pardon me.
Oh yeah. If you're gonna ask, I didn't see what you were saying because I jumped in.
You're floating in the universe there of your studio.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Oh,
Don't move the camera around, then it wouldn't be obvious. It looks like you right there. I love how Johnny Bean finds a way to use technology and make it work for him, right? Now he's invisible. Look at the invisible Johnny Bean. But yeah, I was talking about Alex Van Halen and some of the comments he made up to, during that talk, and then where we met Would He Be Real, and how he is really wisely and smartly, like he always has been, he's a pretty smart guy, manipulates and uses the media to create excitement and interest around things, not just his book, but the next one, because some of the things that people have inflamed into something bigger than they really need to have actually worked in favor of more interest in book 2, which he's often mentioned that, well, that's for another book, that would be for another book. And so obviously he's working on that. And and there are probably feelings revolving around that because of some of Sammy's stuff in his book, right?
Well, what I think what Alex has said is that the spirit of the band was pretty much during the Roth years. So I think they were going to see how this book did, and it's done really well. It's like a bestseller. If there's going to be a second book, would the second book cover the Hagar years? I don't know. That's a tough one, because it seems like, that just wasn't. Yeah.
I think, see, here's my perspective on it, Johnny. I think he's playing that game, because I think Alex is pretty sharp, and I think he's playing that up because he's creating that what if. Is he not gonna talk about Sammy? And I think he's playing on that a little bit because he's a smart guy, when it comes to marketing and everything like that. When it comes to putting out a book or whatnot, you need to create excitement around things like books, because people aren't reading them much these days anyway. So, you want to create some excitement around something, and controversy of sorts does create excitement, whether we'd like to accept it or not. That's fact, and we see that online all the time, right? I mean, one of the things I was learning about over the last several days and weeks or so, I've been really digging deep into some of this music and the brain stuff and neuroscience and the dopamine connection. And one of the things that really works is when you create not just controversy, but you get people asking, well, why wouldn't you? Why aren't you talking about Sammy? Why, and then people get upset, and that whole upsetness thing is everyone's kind of fired up, and it's like that dopamine thing that I wanted to talk about today, which I thought was really fascinating.
Dopamine?
Yeah,
do you have some? Where can I get some?
It's in your brain right now, John.
I need it.
Did you know that? You've got it in you already. And the whole point about dopamine is how it's released in the brain and why and what causes. Like you looking in the camera right there is freaking some people out, and that's going to increase their dopamine level, because they're like going, what the, it's really weird how it works. But it's a response to your environment that's supposed to be there to protect you in a way, to help you survive. And it doesn't work quite as well for us today, the way we have a lot of ups and downs of it, and sometimes crashing downs and downs and downs and downs. And that's where addiction to everything from, food, alcohol, online, stuff, video gaming, all these other things, even work. Did you know? Work has been drugified. is a term that's being used out there, and the drug is the dopamine, because you get high off, the feeling of, hey, everyone is saying what a great worker, you're such a hard worker, you work all the time, you're doing so good, but do you have balance? Do you have homeostasis
Maybe that is the guy.
in your life, right?
Mm-hmm. Here, check this out. You want to
Yeah,
guess?
what does she say about it?
Here, here's your guess right here.
I can't really see.
Somebody clip that.
It's very small. That's what she said.
Very small on the guitar. I was gonna think I'm filming him. Which,
Oh, somebody outside?
I'm not.
Okay. Oh, geez.
Lock my doors.
Yeah, he was outside of your car, huh?
Hey.
Yeah, from Holland. You might be right, Hobarodi. I think it might be from Holland, from the Netherlands, right? What's weird about the Netherlands and Amsterdam and Holland is like it's one country, but it has like 10,000 names.
You saw what Alex said, right?
Tell us again.
Van
Tell us
Halen.
again.
Van, it's like where you're from. Did you see that interview?
Yeah, of course.
Like Van, that's like an area that you're from. That's the name. That becomes a part of your name, something like that.
Like Johnny Fun's.
Oh, so the Van Halen is like has to do with okay, I get
Van
you.
just means from.
Van means from
Hollandville.
Yeah.
So from Holland, yeah. What's funny, like my last name Lengel actually means Polish, meaning that my people probably came from on my dad's side, probably came from Poland.
You know what my last name means?
Hungarians that went to Poland and came back. Yeah. What?
It means magic beans, right, Ian?
Right? Is it?
Ian knows.
I agree. I think magic beans are great to have, Johnny. Absolutely.
Did you see my new guitar, man?
I saw that. Is that the poofy one or the one you just redid? You redid? The blow up one?
What are you talking about?
One. It looks like the blow up one that you have. Okay, that's the real one that you just fixed. Yeah.
That's the real.
You sent me a picture of that. That thing looks great. You guys did a great job.
I did.
Yeah. How much did you have to shim that? Like how many? I didn't get to the end of that. How many shims did you have to?
I used a little part of a business card and the shim that was in there, just a little piece of wood or whatever.
Yeah. And that did the trick. Came out perfect.
Yeah, I mean it's not perfect, but I mean you know me, I can play anything, so it's fine. I played it last night. Actually,
it's set up the best you could set it up to where you have it where you want it. So as perfect as you can get that guitar, you've got that set up the way you want, right? Yeah,
it's great.
And I think Ron because he was a firearms instructor. Obviously, he's a really good instructor. He's really good at walking you through step by step how to do something, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, how's your guitar doing? The one that he walked you through?
It's in a bag upstairs right now. I haven't brought everything down. As you noticed,
he says Johnny in the garbage
can. No, that thing actually turned out really great.
That turned into an Ivanhad.
Yeah. Ivanhad. Which one are you talking about? We were working on the bridge for the green slime green.
Oh, you were?
UVH.
I thought you were working on the Ibanez.
We set up the bridge, and then we set up the Jackson, the Randy Rhoads one.
Oh, that's what it was.
That's what it was.
The Jackson.
The Jackson.
Now known as the Junkson.
Yeah. No, it's killer.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Anyway, but what's BC Rich saying here? Netherlands is one of the Benelux nations. Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. Yeah. I think is that what Lux is? Luxembourg? I don't know.
You know what I think, Laz? You should be doing a show in where are you from?
Well, I'm from San Francisco, Johnny, but my people are from Hungary.
San Francisco.
That's right. I do have that. Hold on a second. I don't know if I can play it though because I don't have the upgrade. Let's see.
Are you from Frisco?
Thank you, first of all, very much for joining us. But now we've got Johnny. Hello, Johnny.
Hi. How are you?
Is that Johnny Bean?
Yes.
Hey, man. How are you?
Hey, good to see you, man.
Yes,
it's been a while.
Are you still living in San Francisco?
Yep.
Yep.
Anyway, no, that's so funny.
Okay, well, yeah, you should do a show in San Francisco voice, But
San
also,
Francisco
no,
voice.
what is it? Well, you're always talking about it. Hungary.
Oh,
You
no.
should do a
It's just where
show
my people are
in
from.
Hungarian, right?
No,
Is that
there's
the
very
voice?
few. There's very few people. Let me see if this works.
Well, then see, you
There's
would
very
corner
few
that
people in
market.
Hungary. It's like
Is there a
there's not enough of a
Hungarian
market.
guitar show
Yeah.
out there?
I know that Chris Barocci, who does some stuff for Toman, he's Hungarian, and we've chatted.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a fruitless effort. Even if you did German or even other more popular languages like Spanish, there are some big Spanish ones. Like there's this guy Carlos I met at Henning's at Gear Street 4. That guy is amazing. He's got a huge channel, millions of people. He does this guitarra,
And he
something
does the
guitarra
show in
channel.
Hungarian?
No, in Spanish.
In Spanish. Well, then you should be doing a show in Spanish.
No, I can't speak Spanish. No, I'm gonna stick to English and shows here in San Francisco, Johnny. But thank you, thank you for your advice. But yeah, today's show, Johnny. What do you know about the brain and music? What can you tell us? What do you know as a musician, as a pro? What do you know about how the music affects your brain? Like, tell us.
Well, I mean, if you write, if you're creative, you're constantly coming up with ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that's one of the issues. Like if I pick up an instrument, if I pick up a guitar,
Mm-hmm.
I come up with new ideas all the time.
All
Like
the time.
I can't help it. I wrote something last night. It's all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I did 4 hours on Twitch last night, but I did 2 of those hours was me playing that guitar right there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you just jam, come up with stuff. And that's one of the problems that not a problem, but one of the issues I would have is that anytime I would pick up a guitar, I would have to have a way to record because I would always come up with ideas and I would always want to save the stuff. So,
Yeah.
So that's,
yeah. And how do you save it? Like when you save your music?
I mean, really, the old-fashioned way is just to play it enough times till you remember it. That's the one thing.
That's one.
I have that one guitar that has like writing on it. I don't know if you saw that one. The reason for that is because I would have a Sharpie and I would write notes on the guitar. Like that's just one way, But these days with a phone, you can hit record. You can. Yeah. I filmed 2 little videos on my phone yesterday, playing my guitar, just playing 2 little ideas.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll use like the simple phone recorder, and I'll put ideas in there.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll be in the shower, Johnny, and inspiration hits. You're singing away in there, right? Yeah. Do you ever sing? I never asked you. Do you sing? Do you do backup vocals at all? Do you do any kind of singing? No. See, both of us have a similar kind of like timbre of voice, and I don't think it relates well to singing. I don't have a good singer's voice. I could probably back up a little bit, but I don't think I have a good tone of voice. I never thought I.
Well, next time at
I like singing, but it's not good.
Next time at Gallagher's, you can do Gallagher's.
Yeah. No, thank you. It throws me off as well. I mean, it's like talking and playing at the same time. It's not something that you have to like do it a lot to get used to doing it well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But so yeah, I mean, the really interesting part about the brain and music is how, as human beings, we evolved. We became bipedal, right? So in other words, not 2 pedals on the floorboard, but feet walking, right? We started walking, and what's unusual about how we use sound in affecting our language and everything. Versus other animals and creatures in the world, like whales in the ocean and whatnot, birds tweeting about. They're not walking everywhere like we are. So there's a really.
I have a peacock that walks everywhere,
and that peacock probably screams its head off, doesn't it?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, they can be loud. So. That meaning that what that has done over time in our evolution is we find meter, we find rhythm in, cadence, like marching, right? And we've used music in a way to keep us in step. And you see that in rock and roll music and in marching music and in drum music for war, all this kind of stuff, right? There is the use of music in very related to the fact that we're bipedal and we're one of the premier, if not we are the alpha, on the planet. But we're the ones that walk most upright and go at multiple different.
That was a foot. Really? That was a foot.
Was it really? Okay. Anyway. So it's really interesting when you look into like the history of humankind's evolution and like how music has made a difference. But why it matters is how it affects like the dopamine, where you're freaking people out again with your staring at us with your creepy eyes. Johnny Bean's creepy eyes. See, Lydian is
Clip
like
that,
freaking out right
Janice.
now. Lydian's ready to like jump out a window or something because she's getting freaked out. So harmony, exactly. Boomster Black, thank you for joining us, man. So we've got 25 people in the show. Thanks for joining, you guys. By the way, thank you all for watching these shows and putting up with the last few weeks of no shows. I was trying to get some Guitar Summit stuff up. I still have a couple more videos I can put up before NAMM. It's kind of like a precursor to NAMM because that was kind of like the European NAMM. And there'll be stuff, they don't all come to NAMM. Obviously, most of those people don't come to NAMM. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun this year. Don't you think, at NAMM?
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of stuff.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of people there that weren't really planning.
I'm already making appointments to meet people,
right?
To meet companies,
Thanks. That's actually not a Les Paul, Edward. Do you want to see that? I posted a picture of that in my Instagram.
That's
by
an
the way.
acoustic.
No, not that one, but that one. I think he's talking about the Les Paul.
Is this one? That one?
No, he's talking about a nice Les Paul in the background. Let me grab it for you. It's actually a Valiant guitar, and it's their body shape they call the Smith. And this is the Henning Pauly Spec version. Let me solo me on this because this is one fabulous guitar. And I still have to change the strings on it, Johnny. Notice the cutaway there, really nice. Notice the truss rod adjustment here. And notice the really interesting duralumin proprietary bridge with bell saddles and stop tailpiece there. The string through, of course. Or is it?
Can you play a solo for us?
Sure. Next time. And then the pickup rings are duralumin as well, which is a aerospace high, quality kind of very strong metal. And it does
need to get
have
some
the
dopamine
Goto.
tuners for that guitar.
These things are dope, dude. Look at that. These things are locking, and it's the very nice Wenge with the 5-piece with the rock hard maple right there, and then we've got that flame maple fretboard. Look at that with the ebony triangle inlays, the Valiant logo right there, Valiant Guitars logo. Yeah, and then I got this PRS strap on sale, really cheap considering it's really hefty leather, but it looks like bullets and a little bit of that wartime theme going on with what's going on over there in Ukraine. But yeah, the headstock also has a really nice, it's not just like a veneer, it's an actual cap of that maple. And the Smith is that body shape, they call it the Smith. 2 knobs, of course, 3-way switch, and you've got the ebony also in those buttons with the V for volume, obviously, and T for tone, Johnny, right? Very nice guitar. It's a very, very, very nice guitar. And they are available. You can get these. So definitely go check out Valiant Guitars. Valiant.
Aren't they like $5,000?
No, you can. No. Some are. There's some expensive ones, but no, you can get them for a couple, $3,000.
$3,000. That's anything.
Considering the quality.
Too much.
Nah, considering the quality, they're amazing. For that, the quality build on these things, and the bell brass, for example, and the adjustable height nut, like each string has a separate adjustable nut positioning or whatever you want to call that. I don't even know what to call it. It's so proprietary.
Adjustments.
Don't fall down, Johnny. Yeah, it's pretty nice. He fell right through space. Johnny is going through space and time. Yeah, you've got a Rev Star. Those Rev Stars are really underrated. If you ask me, they should really be getting a little more of a splash for what great guitars they made in Japan, right? Yeah, excellent guitars. That's something I'll be definitely checking out again this year at NAMM. And
The guitars.
yeah, well, not just the guitars, but definitely going to check out Rev Star a little bit more.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, so back to the dopamine thing. So there are some links in the description. There was a talk. There's this guy called Diary of the CEO. He does these podcasts. So he made some big money in software development at some point, and now he's like just doing podcasting and getting like the experts about whatever, everything on his show. And he had a Stanford, the head of I think one of the departments at Stanford with neuroscience and neurobiology, right? The brain, talking about do you know her? Talking about the brain and dopamine connection and what a big deal it is, and how we so don't understand how the layman, most people, don't know how it works and how we should really get a hold of it, because a lot of us are really out of balance in our lifestyle and in our workplace and a lot of things in life. That's why there's a lot of addictions that we don't even realize are addictions that are being affected, and we're out of control. Yeah, and a lot of it, believe it or not, Johnny, I mean, a lot of it is beyond our control. It's kind of like in that movie, it's not your fault. It's not your fault.
I can quit anytime, Les.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. And that's what you rationalize and think you can, but you're really out of control because the body and brain connection, everything's connected, is out of homeostasis. And yeah, see, the coffee is one of your drugs of choice.
It's true.
Bingo. Now, whether or not these things do harm to us is really the key, and how we can measure that first off, and how that can be regulated, and how we can regulate it. And there's some really great advice in that hour long or so, I think it's even more than an hour long podcast that he has with the doctor. But as you know, it's something I'm fascinated with and still have plans to study more and get more involved in, right? Because what you do, like, part of the reason I started really getting into your show and watching your shows is because it bumped up my dopamine levels. It made me happy. It made me feel good, when there was I was bored, but when there was nothing going on and I wanted something to do. And it was a lot of fun hanging out with you, and that still is. You see what an entertaining guy this guy is? Look at this guy. So yeah, Raymond doesn't drink coffee. I've been really getting into tea as well. Have you ever gotten into the green tea thing, Johnny? Green teas?
I don't like green tea.
You know what's good about green tea is that it is anti-inflammatory, just like honey as well. So if you put a little honey in your green tea, and if you have the decaffeinated green tea, which I'll do in the evening, and I'll have green tea during the day, it really can help stabilize, things in your homeostasis. Again, we're going to talk homeostasis a lot today. Just balance. Think about it as balancing yourself out, right? Having a lot of ups and downs, that's really bad for you. And that's what a lot of people suffer from. You have these sharp downs and ups and downs in your dopamine. So should I tell you and everyone else a little bit more about how dopamine kind of works?
Yeah.
What I've learned?
Tell us. I'll listen off the air.
Okay. Enjoy your breakfast.
I'm getting my dopamine. Hey,
Yeah.
Woody Be Real. What's up, man? Clayton James Hicks. Today's Gibbs Sunday. That's right, man.
That's right, Clayton.
It is.
That is right. I do have a Gibson. I have actually 3. Did you know? I have
What,
the one Les
are you
Paul
hiding
studio.
guitars in your walls like that other guy?
No, no, I don't need to do that. My wife knows everything. Not that she's happy
I'm
about
not
it
either.
all, but you
Okay.
know, but I'll let you go.
All right. You guys, everybody, try to stay awake, okay?
Try to
And
stay
I will
awake.
see you guys next time.
No sleep driving, Johnny. All right. Have a great day, buddy. All right. Enjoy the
Bye-bye.
beach. It's gonna be nice out there. See ya. So that's Johnny Bean, everyone. You all know Johnny Bean, right? Yeah, he's got the dopamine going on with his coffee over there, right? So that's caffeine, by the way. That's not dopamine, but it's a different drug. And there are good and bad things about that too. Another really interesting study or like show, if you want to call it, I watched was a 60 minutes expose kind of a thing. They did a really, really great job talking about as we're aging. Like, you know, I'm in my late 50s, so I've got to really start thinking about, you know, how am I going to ease into later parts of my physical body breaking down, and who knows what other mental capacity might be breaking down. My dad definitely had dementia and Alzheimer's, but he wasn't very active in his life when it comes to social and community activity, being involved with others and people, being challenged on a regular basis. That's part of why I love doing this. And that, I think that's another reason why I really love the gear, like the new gear that I've recently gotten, the Tone X1 that I'm going to be trying to figure out how to use. Is my camera flipped? Do you see that in the right direction? Does that look backwards to you? It does, right? You know what? Let me flip my thing. I think my thing needs to be flipped. Let's go to camera and do that. Yeah. Now you should see it. Yeah. It was flipped. What the? Anyway, now you're seeing me correctly, right? So you should be able to read everything correctly. Like if I put the U looper, which I bought to go along with my Exonic Air Step. Where's that thing? Well, okay, it's down here. I gotta set this puppy up. This is basically a controller to Bluetooth control a lot of things in a studio like I'm setting up here, so that I can use a foot switch to like switch camera angles and things like that. So Woody, let's see, we need to retire early if you can. You know, here's the thing about retirement that's bad. One, you're not making any extra money, which is good to always have if you can work. And if you're doing something you love, is it really work? You know, so I'm planning to continue my studies in my life towards that PhD in psychology, and working with people that have dementia and Alzheimer's, or just any, you know, mentoring young people. All these things, I kind of plan to be doing that. I'm easing my way into it, even doing this show and doing this channel, is be involved in a way where I'm, you know, productive and helping people in some way if I can, because I get a lot out of that. I think, you know, part of helping others helps you, right? You get a lot out of helping other people. I think I've gotten more out of this than I've put into it. Even though I put a lot of money into it, I've gotten a lot of great things out of this. Great relationships, first of all, like my buddy here, you know, Martin of L&M, and Lucas, of course, L&M Guitar Corner, right? Yeah, and it's a very easy to use. If you want, we can do a quick session together. Oh, that'd be great, you guys. Maybe we can do that. Maybe we can do that sometime this week. I don't know if I'll have time for it today, but sometime this week. There are some things I need to get done here today, you know. Hey, 6 Cents. What's up, dude? Yeah. Right on. Yeah, I'm not joining you. You haven't joined? Okay, right on, dude. Thanks for joining and jumping in on the chat. It's always great to have new people in the chat, because I know then the channel's growing a little bit. You know, I haven't had a lot of growth, but I think one of the key things is just upping my game. You know, right now I'm still using this inexpensive YouTube. YouTubers use these this USB mic, and if it's closer to my face, obviously I get better vocals, right? But I really would prefer to do a show where the microphone's not in my face. Like I have this over here right now. You want to see this thing? And I was going to set this up, but I really don't like it. it's going to be weak. It's not going to be able to handle the weight of the microphones I'm planning to use. And I have some studio mics. Let me get that a little bit better adjusted. I have some studio mics, some radio broadcasting studio mics that I'm planning to use. I did buy an SM7B with the full setup, cloud lifter and all, with a Rode like microphone arm and everything, but it never arrived, and there was some issue with it. I think it was a scam from the get-go, and I was able to get my money back from Reverb, but I wonder if they ever got their money back from the person that scammed them. So the bottom line is that there are a lot of scams right now on Reverb as well. eBay's just a cesspool of scamming, so don't even go there anymore if you ask me for stuff, right? But yeah, just send me a message or WhatsApp. Okay, right on, dude. I will. I appreciate that, because a lot of times you can save a lot of time. A lot of times, all the time. If you have someone helping you that's already done it, like Ron would say, yeah, never really done it, or have you ever done it, or whatever. Yeah, Ryan, what's up, my buddy? How you digging that Telecaster, bro? No worries at all, man. Dude, I'm looking forward to. I haven't had a lot of time to look at or watch videos of other people's stuff. I've been researching and stuff for this show. It'd be kind of cool to kind of give you guys a piece of that. I wish I could show some of parts of those videos on the show, but I think it would just cause copyright infringement and then cause a problem with the show. So I used to do that more. I can't really do that. So. But let me read a little bit of something for you guys, all right? So this is something I took directly from AI. AI basically can like put a lot of information together that would take a lot of time for you to kind of figure out on your own to put together. So I just looked up, dopamine and music and how it works in the brain. I think mainly this one tidbit here is about just dopamine. So let me read this for you guys and tell me your thoughts. Oh, dude, yeah, you can definitely send me some of your JTM captures. Yeah, right on. I've got one right here too. It's a little different. I've got to get this thing cranking. Oh, by the way, another thing that's coming in the show, like we were talking about, changes and the future and goals and setting goals. I think that's one thing that will definitely help me with getting things done that I'm always planning. I have to actually set a date, time, and goal. And I've always kind of resisted that. There's been a side to my personality that's probably not benefited me over time, which is that I like to live on the edge of things a little bit. And I like to, my wife would be like, I like to, flow with the river of life in a sense. And that's not always good, You can have a good time flowing down the river of life, of course, less stress and all that kind of thing, probably. But some stress is good. And some of the stress that's good is setting a goal for yourself and working towards it and making it happen. You can still have homeostasis or balance in your life. Just don't let it become like a workaholic kind of thing. There are some people that overwork, and work in America in many ways has been the term I used earlier today in the show, and it's been used around there, has been drugified too. It's like, people almost like look up to these workaholic types, like as if it's such a good thing. But when you look at their actual life and what's going on, is there really balance going on there? Are we looking at the whole picture, And I think that holistic aspect of finding balance in life is very important. I think, I've always been trying to find that balance. And I think that's part of what life is about, trying to reach and attain goals and reach certain heights of, I guess, life in some way, not status, but I'm like achievement based. It's more about achievement to me. And I've had family members say to me many times, like, oh, you're always studying, you're always, going to school. You're always like, yeah, because to me, life is one of the goals I've always had in life is to achieve, in different ways, achieve in business, achieve in life, achieve, in family relations and community, achieve in education and knowledge, and that's really important. So when it comes to this side of things, on the psychology side of music is therapy show and what I'm trying to achieve here is to help educate, people out there, bring some of the knowledge I'm gaining and sharing that. Because I was astounded when I was in junior college how even the professors and other people around there weren't applying a lot of what we were learning about psychology and the brain and learning on campus to help students learn. So I came up with this idea. I said, well, why don't we do a no stress zone for finals week? And the week before and during finals, we have these no stress zones where people can go have a bottle of water or some tea or something to relax them. There were all kinds of things we had, from yoga to meditation to pet therapy animals on campus. I tried to get a horse. They wouldn't let me, not even the mini ones. But we were able to get, like big dogs and little cats and ferrets and birds. And we had all kinds of animals, little lizards, even everything. People, had their go at different kind of animals. And the no stress zone actually spread throughout, like, I think throughout California. I was telling my nephew about it. I'm like, let me ask you something. Do they have a no stress zone for finals? And you're like, oh yeah. I'm like, who came up with that? And he's like, no. And I'm like, yeah, it was me. I came up with that idea because I was like, we've got to apply some of the things we know about how to help students de-stress and get better grades. And it was a no-brainer for the school to put some money behind this because it helped with their scholastic achievement. People got better grades. Is that not better for a school, right? Obviously. And the College of San Mateo, where I was going for that first 2 years of all that study, is a beacon school when it comes to the community colleges in California. Beacon being that a lot of what they do spreads out like a beacon. People see and watch what they do and then they copy it. And they've got some of the smartest people working there, because you've got people working with Stanford, like the psych head over there, Jim Clifford at the time. I'm not sure if he's still heading that department, but he's a great guy. Worked with NASA in their neuroscience department. He works with Zimbardo over at Stanford, and they work a lot with veterans. And there's a lot of other, brilliant people in Stanford, of course. And you've got Berkeley right nearby here too. So there's no lack of smart people, but what good does all that stuff do is if you don't share that information and share it in a way where it can be used and affect people's lives in a positive way. So I had actually gotten talked into joining the Senate when I was in my second year there. And so I even went to Washington with some of the students, DC, and we were pushing for legislation for education and whatnot, But what I push for is on campus, and like during the most stressed period of time in the college campus there is during finals week. And so every hallway had posters all along it, 10 ways to de-stress before an exam. And they were like 10 ways to do that, all kinds of really great information that we were spreading, along with free Scantrons, blue books, pencils, and all that stuff at the no stress zone. Because if you're on your way to your class and you forgot to pick one up and, oh shit, you don't have time, just go by the no stress zone and grab your Scantron or your blue book or whatever, And you might think, why would they do that? You're just giving away the free stuff. Look, what matters more, a 10-cent Scantron or someone not stressing and getting better grades and actually achieving, in school, right? So yeah. So who else is here that's new? Let's say hi to Boomster Black, is being congratulated for something. Did you get a new gear? YouTube did unsub me. Oh yeah, that happens, man. Don't worry. The algorithm, right? That's another thing about something that's worthy of talking about here on YouTube and in social media in general, is actually designed, and this is no joke. This is in the links. So it's not a joke. It's a very serious thing. But knowing about it, you can make it work for you. So awareness and knowledge is very important. Awareness of these things helps you regulate it for yourself, right? But social media and a lot of these websites and how they work, the algorithm is designed to actually get you addicted to them, to that social media platform, or to the behavior that's going on in that platform. And there are actually, what's weird about the algorithms is there are different kind of behaviors and groups, and so the algorithm kind of works to concentrate it at you, what you're interested in. But it's really weird how it works. So there's going to be even more and more information coming out about, in the future about how this experiment of ours with social media that we've been going through, what has the effect been on, our society and people, right? Yeah, it's all good, dude. I still I want to get more subs, but I'm like I don't live by that, and maybe that's a good or bad thing. Um, Film McKnight has a lot of really interesting insight on that, and I've talked to Henning about it quite a bit too. And Henning actually was one of the guys too that recommended to me that, hey, why don't you do concentrate on the psychology side of music, because there's a bigger audience for that, outside of gear. And I thought that's true, because only musicians are interested in gear, whereas everyone out there that's listening to or interested in music and how it affects your brain and how you can use it, to help moderate, your homeostasis, right? Might find interest in a channel like this, and then might use music, whether as a playing musician or participating in some other way. You don't even have to be a musician to be involved in music. You can be someone who sets up the sets, who helps sell the tickets, who helps people to their seats, or designs, the theater, the acoustics, creates the art. Like whoever created the art for the picture I used in that was a free, copyright-free picture I found online that I thought would be really cool to use. It's got like the brain and notes and stuff, And so there are all kinds of people out there that are working in all different aspects of the world, right? Different fields of, industry, different, whatever you want to call it, jobs. And if you love music, you can find a way to be around it. Like right now, what I'm doing, I haven't done as much playing and actually involvement in writing music as I used to, and that's because I'm more involved doing this, but I'm planning to. So that's one of my goals that I've set for myself. As a matter of fact, one of the guys, I kind of teased it out there a few times, and I haven't joined it yet, and maybe it's too late. But Sean Pierce Johnson, somebody I can call friend, because we met up years ago. My first NAMM, I met up with, was it my second NAMM? I think it was my second NAMM. When I crashed NAMM, I met up with Johnny Bean and Ben Coombs and McNamara and all kinds of other people there. Aaron, Albus Band Aaron, my buddy Aaron. We're going to be bunking in the same party house, we call it. We don't really party. But it's a place we're going to be all together. I booked the place in Anaheim area for us for NAMM. So I met a bunch of friends, and Sean Pierce Johnson has a channel, and he's an educated Guitar Institute educated musician, plays in a church band. I think that's one of the ways he makes his income, as well as the gear review thing and the online, music kind of related stuff. He talks about all different aspects of music, really interesting. And he's doing a class. It's kind of like I think he's calling it kind of like a boot camp for busy musicians who want to learn about guitar, like learn how to be a better guitarist. Busy, and it's intended more for busy people like me who don't have time. So I should just go ahead and go to his website and sign up right now, because that's me in a nutshell. So yeah, Dennis Ellis, hey, you got a guitar? Send me a picture. Send it to musictherapylabs@gmail.com. So let me read this thing I was going to read, and then I would highly suggest you guys go check out some of the other links I have in the description. There's a number of them that are coming off of that one dopamine related, specifically related podcast. Really great guy who does that show. They talk quite a bit about a lot of the different effects on society right now, and social media, and why there's this opting out by young men to work and really jumping in on, having a family and building a life. There's this very interesting phenomenon going on right now, it's affected a lot of things. Yeah, the boot camp, right? Yeah. So let me read this to you guys, and then I'll look up that email if Dennis Ellis wants to show us his guitar. But here it is. So listening to and producing music can increase the release of dopamine in the brain. a neurotransmitter that triggers feelings of pleasure and well-being, the homeostasis thing, right? Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to take you to homeostasis. It actually take you out of homeostasis, because that pleasure thing can become too much and there can be an imbalance, right? So, yeah, there is indeed. Yes, Sixth Sense Media. Oops, this one. Yep. So I'm reading this is something that's not there, but I'm just reading this. So there are peak emotional moments when listening to music. During peak emotional moments, such as when you feel a chill of pleasure, can cause dopamine to be released. Now, an interesting thing about that too is the same reaction to something that gives you a chill in the scary sense, but we like that. Why is it that we like that? We there's almost like an enjoyment factor. We laugh afterwards a lot of times, especially if we realize, oh, the reason for fear is not really there. Okay, we just heard the shark jump out of the water, dun 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 da da da, and then we see the shark and our adrenaline is starting to peak and everything because we're expecting an attack, and then we realize, hey, wait a minute, this is pretend, this is make believe, and we laugh at it, right? So it's like those moments like at the shower and the Psycho where they meep, 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 meep. That sound, that noise is a scary, shrieky, like hawks shrieking or some kind of screaming noise that's like a threat kind of sound, right? But then we realize, oh, this is just make believe, it's a movie. So, and then we calm down, but we enjoy that rush, right? We get off on that rush. And then there's the come down from that rush. But here's the really interesting thing about dopamine. The more of that rush you get, the more often you're building on it, the more you need, right? Like addiction, we build up a resistance to it, and then we need more of it. And so like gaming, social media, workaholics, alcoholics, chocoholics, baconaholics, what are bacon? Whatever you've got a rush for, it seems like, the more of a rush you get from, you enjoy, the more you need. You build up a resistance, you need more and more and more. And that buildup takes a lot to unbalance. Okay, so what happens is, let's say we're in homeostasis, we're in balance, right? Suddenly we get a dopamine rush, right? So now, oh, that balance is going tipping down here, right? The way this woman describes it, it's like having these like rocks, these like gremlins that are, giving you this rush that's pulling you, there, right? But then your body is automatically going to be wanting to unbalance that. So when you get the dopamine, these gremlins are introduced, she describes them as, and they are trying to bring you back to balance, but sometimes they stay around and then they pile up on each other. And then there are more and more of these gremlins. In other words, there's more and more of these chemicals that require more dopamine to bring you to balance. So you're having to get more to bring you back to what you feel as homeostasis or balance or feeling in the zone or good. And that becomes the problem. You need more and more of it. You need more and more of the dopamine releasing effect, whatever it is, whether it's coming from a drug or from a behavior or whatever. And that can really stack up. She talked about how in her life she realized it was romance novels. So she became addicted to romance novels to the point where she wasn't even partaking in, like on a vacation, in the interactions with others on the vacation. She was huddled in her room there while everyone's out at the beach enjoying their good time together as a family, and she's just one page after the other. And she talked about at a certain point she didn't even care about the quality of the books. She was always going for the hit of the feeling that you get at a certain part of the story in the romance novel, where it gets you off, kind of thing, whether it's porn or anything. It all works the same way, man. So she had to, she did what she always recommended her clients as a psychologist: quit for 30 days and see what happens. And boy, did she see the effects. The first week to 2 weeks, it was bad. She was having withdrawal big time, really irritable, really she was not, unhinged, she was stressed, she was, all this stuff. But then by the end of it, by the 30-day period, she had not felt that good in so long. And she realized, oh my God, it was that dopamine thing. She really had to, let it go. And so think about that. Like when it comes to anything that's affecting your life, what's going on with you, and is there balance or not? Is there something that you're worried about being a little bit, overly addicted to in some way? See what happens if you quit it. Like one of the things I quit is sugar intake, because both my wife and I, we have diabetes in the family. Our fathers both had diabetes, so we're concerned. I'm a little skinny fat, got a little, for 59 I'm all right, but I could be better. I'm not sucking it in right. I'm relaxed, but I got a little tummy right there, and so even my doctor, when I last got the checkup, he says, look, you're pre-diabetic from your numbers, so you've got to be aware of this. And so we stopped using sugar in our coffee, for example. We avoid treats, like sweets for treats. I'll have like pistachios as a snack when we're watching a movie or TV in the evening or whatnot. And now we're trying to get out and walk right after we eat, especially the lunch or the bigger meal of the day. We go on a nice 30-minute walk afterwards. And so another goal we're setting is to always do that, no matter how cold it is outside, honey. We got to do that, right? So, and like Dennis Ellis, it's snowing there right now, right? So let me finish this little tidbit on this. So now they talk about, that's the peak emotion part of things, right? So then there's this familiarity that's going on as your brain becomes familiar with a song. This is about music, right? Your body may release dopamine when you hear just the first few notes, okay? Anticipation, dopamine is released when you anticipate peak musical moments, like the eruption solo, The uncertainty of what will happen next in a piece of music can trigger a surge of dopamine in a candidate, right? Jazz, for example, classical has a lot more, surprise in it sometimes for people. If you haven't listened to a lot of classical, there definitely, you'll hear things that you hadn't heard before. Jazz is definitely like that, right? The interpretive and very personal inspiration that people have from each other as players. One will inspire another to go in another direction. That's something that you find when you are a musician working together in a group. That makes music that much more interesting and better. Is that everyone interpreting the other person's feeling and mood and whatnot, and then creating something out of that, right? So then they talk about the brain activity, the listening to and producing music increases activity in the brain areas involved with reward and emotion. So it's, again, that dopamine thing is that reward thing, making you feel like, something good. It's a reward thing, like getting a treat when you give, the Pavlovian thing again, with the dog. Pavlov was a Russian psychologist or scientist, right? And he did the thing with the bell. Rang the bell when the food was going to be given, and then the dogs would salivate even when there was no food present, just by the ringing of the bell, right? So then it goes into the dopaminergic circuits of your brain, right? Music recruits dopaminergic circuits, which can lead to changes in emotional intensity and arousal. So we're talking about arousal in many different ways, right? You can be aroused like scared, you can be aroused, in your feelings emotionally, sadness, happiness, and then music can have many positive effects on your mood and experience of physical pain. So that helps you work. So for example, sometimes you get tired. You don't want to keep working, but you turn on that music that keeps you going. And then next thing you know, you're not even paying attention to how much work you're doing. You're exercising. Who doesn't go to the gym without music? Like almost everybody does, right? You go do the whatever exercise it is. Even to yoga, there's like, we go. And a lot of times, if it's not like oming or whatever, it's going to be like some kind of meditational, relaxing music, right? Whether it's synthesizers or whatever. It could be singing bowls. It can be all that kind of stuff, right? Music can have many positive effects on your mood and experience of physical pain. For example, you can use music to set the perfect mood, transport yourself to a different headspace. Even memories will take you back to like, oh my God, I was listening to some alt rock yesterday on the way in and out of the city. And it was kind of cool. And then, actually on the way back, we started listening to yacht rock. Two totally, different genres, right? And it was really cool to listen to some of them smooth 70s era, yacht rock tunes, Toto and whatnot. Oh my God. So yeah, you can transport yourself to a different headspace and feel energized, like at the gym, right? So there is this article that I also like to always put in, some kind of a scientific based article, if you want to look at that for some fact-based science behind it, by Laura Ferrari and others that she worked with. Dopamine modulates the reward experiences elicited by music. So there you go. There's some science there for you as well. And then there's Michael Spitzer put out a short, I think it's less than 10 minutes long, Music's Power Over Your Brain Explained, in like 7-8 minutes. So there's that one there. And then there's Digital Media, is a drug. That's a clip that I think I probably didn't just put these clips in, but I put that entire podcast in there. I had a number of clips from that. But the one with the CEO, Diary of a CEO podcast, that I really enjoy. So go check those out right after the show, you guys, if you have time. I like listening to that kind of stuff as a podcast sometimes when I'm doing the dishes or doing some work around the property that I manage and that kind of thing. Yeah, the V's missing, Thrash Metal. You're right. Hey, what's up, dude? Dwight Bailey, the hitman. That's right. Yeah, it's still upstairs in the bag. I got to bring it down. There's some stuff I want to get done inside the studio here, so I'm kind of trying to keep some of that clear, especially guitars on the back wall here behind the studio desk, because I want to sound deaden that some with some sound traps, my Roxy's guitar hangers, right? So I'm going to put some of that sound deadening there and also do the sound deadening at the window and behind the couch that I have over here. And then I'll get to work on some of the projects that I have going on. One of them, I'll give you guys a little teaser. One of them is this. I'm not going to show the address, but it's got Fragile all over it, but I don't think that was adequate enough for the packaging. So the guy could have done a better job packaging this thing, if you ask me. But we'll see. We're going to unbox that. It's something that came from, I guess, Holland, right? And then I got to get chit-chat with our friend Hobarodi a little bit more about some future things. Happy Sunday, everybody. Yeah. That's the show. I went a little long, but I started late. So so let me know in the comments afterwards. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. And just so you know that the plans for this channel, the Music Therapy Labs channel, is to monetize. So I do want to start monetizing it, not necessarily just to make money, but to be able to do more. So in other words, I'm going to spend more time on doing the channel, but that's going to have to, make it worthwhile for me to take that time out of work to do it. So I'm going to start a Patreon. I'm going to start allowing YouTube to monetize and put ads on the show. So let me know your thoughts on this, you guys, in the chat, in the comments, especially, how that's working for you or not. I pay for YouTube as a subscription thing, $10 a month or whatever it is, 12, because I don't want to see ads. So I like to be able to listen to it with my phone with the screen off, and I can do it when I pay for it. I don't have to have the screen on when I have the YouTube stuff going, and then I have the YouTube music and all that other stuff too. So I pay for YouTube as a service, and I'm fine with it. Right now I'm not paying for StreamYard, but if I'm monetizing the channel and I get enough income from the channel, I'll pay for StreamYard. So I'm going to go ahead and pay the $300 or whatever, whatever they're going to want a year for me to do StreamYard. And then I'll look at other platforms as well. I could look at other platforms for streaming, but this one seems to work really well. And once I do set everything up here properly, with the proper mics, with my SSL interface, and I get production going in here with recording in it and whatnot, the way I've planned for a while. Peggy knows. I've been planning this for a while, right, Peggy? And Ryan knows too. Everybody, I think most of you guys who've been around know. I've been slowly eking my way toward jumping a little further into the pool, as I say, of doing this YouTubing thing. as a way of not making money, but doing what I want to do. So in other words, if I could do this more, I think it would be great. I think I could help educate people more, and it'd be something I get a lot out of. Definitely something that I've always had an affinity to do. You know, in life today, you can choose different things to do, right? And living in California is very expensive, but I'm lucky in many ways. I've worked, to create that luck, as they say, right? To get to where I am. And I hope, you guys all respond in kind. I hope you guys enjoy being more active members of the show by being participants in it. Just like a lot of the channels that I see that are successful are more so because they have more interaction with their subscribers or their followers or whatever you want to call people that are willing to be part of, this whole experiment of sorts, social media and all. And speaking back to the point about the addictive side of it too, be aware of how much you're absorbing, how much of it you can absorb. And I pay quite a bit of attention to that, and I can't, be involved in it all. It's impossible. So, don't make any excuses for that. Do what you want to do the best you can. I don't have any expectations, but I'm hoping that people will support the channel as I'm growing it and making it more a professional kind of an endeavor, right? So I aspire to bring to you guys what I hope you guys want to see. Let me know what you thought of this show today by leaving a comment. Tell me what you thought. And you can always leave a comment about what some subject you'd like to learn more. Do you want to learn more about this dopamine music brain connection thing? But do please look at some of those videos, especially the dopamine one. Definitely, that's a life changer. So if you watch that, you'll get a lot out of that. And it might change your life in a really positive way. That's part of what I'm hoping to do here. So, yeah. Too many adverts take me out of homeostasis. Yeah, see, that's what I get that. Totally get that. So we'll see. I might, give me recommendations of what you like about other channels. Like if I don't do the YouTube like monetization, what about if I just do Patreon? And what if I just, ask you guys to help me out with that? And I'll try to be as transparent, like try to be, meaning that I'll try to, like I've always in the past, I've posted how much people send me, during that month. Hobarodi does a really good job about that. He does his show where, he's got all the music that he's putting up and trying to support musicians. And whoever supports him that month, he puts it up on the board. Like they puts the person's name. If you want to be anonymous, but you can do that. And then I'll probably go ahead and get a PO box as well, like Johnny has and others have, so that if you do want to send me something, it's somewhere where I can have people send me stuff that they might want me to review, if they like how I do reviews, let me know about like previous reviews and things I've done, what you thought of that. And then NAM's going to be a big deal for me because this year I'm really going to try to push doing NAM in a more professional way, not so much as just me enjoying it kind of thing like I often do. I do try to show things to you guys when I'm there, I try to make it like that too and ask questions and whatnot. But I'm going to be taking a gimbal with me. I'm hoping to, get some better quality shots with that. I'm going to be a little bit more packed up with batteries and all the stuff you need to be able to do a better job of that. And probably not live stream things like Johnny has. Let him do his live stream thing. I think that's his thing. I might just shoot video and just try to upload it right away, and hoping that the Wi-Fi that they have there is going to be adequate. We'll see. But yeah, so that's some of the news for future plans and the show. And then I'm going to try to get these shows more pre-produced. In other words, set them up more ahead of time so you guys know what's coming when, right? And so you know what's coming. And I might do some series. So I'll do a series on something, and then you'll know what's coming for the next 3 weeks or whatever. And yeah, help me out by leaving in comments section here after the show your thoughts on this. And then I guess I'll see you guys next time on the Gear and Demos show on Thursday nights, where I get a little more silly. I'm going to try to be less silly there too. I'm going to try to do that more professionally. And I'm going to try to actually do videos. Well, I will actually do videos on things like that, to not just do a live hang with it, but to actually shoot some videos that I'm going to have to learn how to edit and all that, right? So thank you, Sixth Sense Media. Or is it Media? No. Amelia. Sixth Sense Amelia. I get it. Sense Amelia. And BC Rich 581. What's up, dude? Thanks again. Yeah, thank you, Edward. Thank you very much. Hope you guys got something out of that. And yeah, NAM later this month is really going to be something else. There will lots of I think you meant lots of dopamine. We might lose some dopamine. We might gain some dopamine. Definitely is going to be dopamine involved. So until the next show, you guys have a great rest of your Sunday or weekend if it's not already the end of it. You rock, you guys. And then I often used to end the shows with that the secret to tone is in your mind, but the feel comes from your heart. Put it together with musical instruments and friends, consort with others with music and rock on. Until next time, have a great rest of your Sunday and see you next time.